Hey guys, welcome to Me, Myself, and I.
So I'm Naomi.
And I'm Niti.
So our channel is all about dating, sex, and psychology.
And you can find us on Spotify, TikTok, and Instagram.
So stay tuned. So how satisfied do you think interracial couples are?
I feel like that's a hard question because it obviously depends.
Yeah.
I do think interracial couples can make it work. Like, you can
definitely.
easily make an interracial relationship work, but I think that it can be harder.
Like, they need to be wanting to do it and not just like, okay, yeah, I guess it's different and like, we'll eat your food someday, your food someday. Like, I think both people should be wanting to learn about the other person's culture, or else then I think you'll run into problems.
I do think though, like, especially if you're an immigrant, like first generation, I do think that there are some family sometimes hesitations because I think, especially if you've never had anyone else be interracial in your family, like, to kind of be mixing, you're the first generation to be mixing, like, I can see families not
liking that.
It is harder. Like, I think especially if you're from like more of a conservative culture.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't know. I think we're starting to see it a lot more now. Like, I think they said by 2050, like, the whole world's gonna be like mixed or something like that. Yeah, so like it's definitely happening more. I think as long as it's not because you're fetishizing one of the culture, I guess ethnicities, like, I think it's good.
Yeah.
But I just don't like when I see like someone fetishizing another ethnicity and getting with them for that reason because they want to, I don't know, produce certain looking types of kids and stuff like that. I think that's weird.
Yeah, but do you think people look, take a double take when you see an interracial couple? Like,
yeah. Oh, okay. They definitely. I think it happens. Just speaking as a Black woman, like when I'm like walking on the street and I see like a Black guy with a different race, like, I feel like me and the Black guy both kind of like sense, we're both aware of each other, so there's kind of like that awareness, kind of like little look maybe, and I don't think there's a problem with it as long as the Black guy's not bashing Black women. Like, as long as it's just, okay, you fell in love with this person and that's who you're with, cool. But if you're with this other race because you don't like Black features or Black culture or whatever, like, I hate that.
But there's always this thing, like, even brown people, like, brown guys that always idealize white women.
But I think that's bad. I don't, I think it's self-hate, to be honest.
And people even say, like, I would never be with a brown girl.
Like, to me, that is wild. Like, how can you say you can't, you want to be with your own people? Yeah. Like, that's what your whole family looks like, and how could you say, like...
And you look like that.
You look like that.
If anything, I'm thinking, who are you to say, like, one is better, and I also idealize, like, something better. Like, I deserve, like, better. And it's like, yeah, I don't know how you can, like, be like, oh, I really want to be with white girls.
Like, that's very colonial to me. Like, it's very...
And, like, what is it, the fair skin? Like...
It's the fair skin. And it's also, I think... Okay. I've heard, like, some guys say, certain cultures are a bit less, like, demanding or strict, or, like, it might be easier to be with certain cultures. So I think that's why some of them say that. Mm-hmm. But to me, like, you should be used to your culture. Like, that shouldn't be like, oh my god, I can't deal with it, so I'm gonna... Yeah. Like, and also, you shouldn't be dating someone else because it's easier. Yeah. Like, to me, it's like...
That's the wrong reason.
Yeah, like, what?
If you love someone and it doesn't matter, like, what they look like, honestly. Like, they could be from any culture, they could be man or woman, it doesn't matter to me. But I think that there is kind of, like, this thing in society, and, like, maybe that is why people double take, or some people do stereotype an interracial couple because it's almost like your own culture wasn't good enough for you. Yeah. You wanted something else.
Yeah, and I think... Yeah. Like, but how do you feel when it's the girl, like, as, like, a girl from your culture dating someone from another culture? Because I know we're more talking about, like, guys dating out their race. What do you feel about, like, girls dating out their race?
I think it goes to both. I think maybe there is a little bit of, like, the guys wanted a more beautiful woman. Like, and so we maybe stereotype the guys a little bit more, like, we're harder on them. Yeah. But I think it's the same thing. Like, I think...
Because I look at my culture, there's more, like, praise to women who date outside our race than the men dating outside our race. Yeah.
Why?
Like, I've seen, like, yeah, you go, sis, like, good for you, but then for the guys, it's not the same thing.
I would think it'd be equal.
No, it's not. It's definitely not. Oh. Because this is gonna get so political, man. Yeah, I don't want to get too into it, but just based on, like, the past and, the cheating and situations that a lot of women have run into, that's why they get the praise for dating outside the race. Cause they're like, oh my god, sis, like you found someone's gonna treat you right, and you're not gonna get done dirty like, you know, in the past. And whereas like the guys in our culture have not been done as dirty, at least like publicly maybe. So like that's why they get the hate more, because it's like, wow, like the women in our culture like want to love you guys, and it's like you're just
Okay, so I can see that.
I also think that how black men, like if you're speaking of culture, how black men are viewed in society versus how black women are viewed in society is a bit different.
Yeah, like black women are I think like stats are like the least desired or least like swiped on
Where did you read the stats?
It's actually
it's Asian men and then
black women.
Wow, I honestly did not
just
know
have
that.
the worst like stereotypes, honestly. Because black men stereotypically are like, when you think black men, you think rapper, basketball player. Like you think strong, tall, dark and handsome. Like I don't know, very bold. Like that's kind of the stereotype. And for black women, it's like aggressive, ratchet. Like those are the bad stereotypes that we get. So that's why like that stat is a thing.
Wow.
Yeah, and then Asian men, like I don't want to speak for their culture, but like like, you know, just we have more bad stereotypes associated with us. Wow. So that's why when when black women date someone outside the race, we're like, yes, sis, like, you know, it's like we found someone who's just like not judging you, kind of like, which I think is what.
But I think in terms of like interracial relationships, like we did learn in class that I think it's like 18% now.
Yeah.
In the States or Canada, I think 18% of people are in an interracial relationship, which is like amazing, I think.
I think it's good. I think I just like seeing when both people like celebrate each other's cultures. I think it's beautiful, honestly. Yeah. And like the kid, you know, like when you do those projects like where are you from? The kid's like here. Like it's cute. Yeah, like
some people have like 15 places.
Yeah, like it's definitely cool as long as like both parents, again, it's genuine love.
Yeah, love. Yeah. It's not for the wrong reason. But I don't know, I feel like with religion it gets trickier.
It definitely does. Like what do you think about that?
I think it depends like on how religious people are, because I do think that it can be really tricky because that's like your value system. Yeah, like how else can you, like that's how you go about life.
I think values are based, like that's the base of a relationship, like having similar values. So like so you might have to compromise, or like how do you compromise religion?
You really can't. Like I think where it becomes a problem is raising kids. Yeah. Because there's traditions in certain religions, there's things you can and can't do, like things you can and can't eat, and like how do you go about raising kids when you're like, this is wrong, but the other person doesn't think it's wrong? And I think it creates conflict when you're raising a kid. I
think it does too, and I think like also in that case it'd be like, well, why does, like if the kid can only be a part of one religion, it's like, well, why is your religion like worth it? Like, prominent. Yeah, more prominent than mine. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's,
I think that in order for it to work, what I've noticed, from people who do have two different religions and they're in a marriage or something, is that I think one of the people needs to be less religious.
Yeah, I think if both people are strongly religious, it's not gonna last long.
Well, what about converting?
Converting? I think convert if you truly value those.
You'd convert?
If you truly value that, you know, the things in the other religion. Yes, but if you're only converting just to be with the person, I don't know how I feel about that.
I know like, a lot of people have done that.
But, because to me, you're kind of giving up your values. Again, but if you're not strongly religious, then I can see converting won't be a big
deal
problem.
For you.
But if you're strongly religious and then you're just dashing away those values for, like, a next one, I kind of like, I know. That's kind of like,
to me, it's like if someone really loves you, I don't think they would force you to convert.
That too, but then, again, how are you going to live together if you have all
That's already a problem then. If they're forcing you to convert, that means they're extremely strong.
But I don't think one person would force. I feel like it'd be one person like, I really want to be with you, so like I'm going to do this. Actually, no. I think
that's too big of a compromise. Like that is a whole like values, integrity system, and then you're going to have to keep up with that religion.
Would it be with someone who's strongly religious and someone who's not religious at all? Do you think that could work as a relationship, or
strongly religious?
Someone who's not religious?
I think it'd be easier because that one person's religion would take prominence, like when you're raising kids, because the other person doesn't have.
But I'm saying like someone who's like they're not into religion, like they don't. That's not part of their life.
I think it's hard, but I don't know how people do it. Like,
because to me it'd be like,
what are you supposed to tell your kids?
There are just like certain practices and values that the religious person would have that like, I mean, it depends on how the non-religious person's personality. If they're very like, you know what, let me like, put effort into the other person's religion, sure. But if they're like, I don't like religion, or I'm very like, not for, I don't want this in my life, then I think it's not gonna, gonna work. But I guess maybe to like the person who's religious, like maybe for some people like any effort might be good sometimes, but for some people they might want like the full commitment. So I guess it just depends on the two people.
I think I personally like wouldn't want to date someone who is not of the same culture / religion. I think that's me personally. I'm not even a religious person, but like someone who's very, very strong in another religion, I can't see myself following. Like I think I'm just spiritual. So I think it's just to make your life easier.
Yeah. Well, I just feel like we need, for a relationship to work, I just feel like you need similar values, and I just feel like a lot of values are coming from
I think there's
religion.
already enough conflict.
Yeah.
That's just me personally. I think it can work. I just think like I'm not someone who would like give up my culture if I was asked to.
No, I don't.
Or I can't see myself ever following a different, like a religion. I'm not even religious. I'm just spiritual.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't see myself like fully converting. At least like,
I think
right now where I'm in my life, I don't see that for myself.
Maybe if you're madly in love with someone, we'll talk later, and they ask you to convert.
Maybe, down the line. Like,
I've never been there.
But I have not been there either. So and like I've also just dated like pretty much within my culture, so that hasn't been an issue. But yeah.